Youth of Purpose.
Very good evening, and of course you are welcome to Youth of Purpose right here at U24 Television. And today we are going to be discussing a very interesting conversation in regards to the alternatives to youth political inclusion, a case of the unopposed and the new challenges. Now, in the recent general nominations, we were actually shocked to see that some of the candidates that were running actually went through unopposed. Now, with the pressure of young people and desire to join political spaces, could we say that maybe young people did not take interest, or do we say that there's some other challenges right here and there? But also want to put context in regards to what alternatives young people are putting out there in the approaches of different aspects in regards to the election period. A case scenario is our very own celebrity, Abraham Luzi, that is making headlines in terms of the digital activism. And so joining me is a very well constituted panel, and I will allow them to introduce themselves, starting it off with my very immediate neighbor, Emmanuel.
Thank you so much, Presley. I am delighted to be part of this discussion. My name is Presley Emmanuel, and I am a lawyer and an author. Glad to be part of the show, and I'm looking forward to learning from my fellow panelists, of course.
Thank you so much for joining us. Next to Emmanuel is Sisi.
Thank you so much, Cheslin. I'm glad to be part of the panel today. My name is Sisi Nafula, female youth councillor, Banda Sub-County, and aspiring female youth councillor in the Mayungo district. I am a lawyer and passionate about girls and women.
Thank you so much, Sisi, for joining us. We would love to understand from Namayengo, are there people that went through unopposed, or
of course.
Are young people not? Okay, Emanzi.
Thank you very much, our viewers, for tuning in to Channel 24. My name is Mujisha Emanzi, and I'm a panelist. I'm very excited to be part of this show. I look forward to fire. Thank you.
Thank you so much. To begin with you, Emmanuel, from Mishembabude. We have seen the chaos around participation of people who we think we should look up to. But also, on the other hand, we have seen some of the constituencies that have gone unopposed. Case study is Bukedia, but also our very own, the Deputy Right Honorable Speaker, and the woman member of parliament for Rubirizi district, and a few others here and there. And with the young people really pushing with the urge to take on leadership positions, but also looking for more spaces where they can partake, do we say that there's some limitations, or do we say that maybe there's some other issues as to why we actually had some people go through unopposed?
Thank you so much, Trusselin. That same point, one, if I am to draw context to the Bukedia scenario, because unlike those others, for the Bukedia scenario, that has made relative headlines at least on social media. And I do not know how authentic the information I personally got is, but these people will help me. But what I have been told is that there were contestants contesting against the Right Honorable Speaker. And then that as time went by, it is alleged, because these are not proved facts, that she did connive with the Electoral Commission, and that their voting credentials were altered, in that if one is supposed to vote at a given polling station in Bukedea, they find themselves as voters in a different district. Then it is also said that criminal charges have been put forward against some of her potential contestants. And at the end of it all, you have her potential opponents kicked out of of the competition. This is alleged, but of
Were
course,
there young people?
yes, I've seen a lady that I hope, is she called Marion? I saw, is she called, I hope she's called Marion if I'm not mistaken, but I saw her spitting her grievances over the same issue, and so I agree. But this has nothing to do with age, but it has everything to do with a person refusing to face resistance. And remember, this is not just an ordinary person, but it is a person who is in the position of a Speaker of Parliament, and so they have sufficient, or at least enough power, to be able to influence systems and to do whatever they would want to do all it takes for them to do away with the competition. So I agree that that happened. I don't know how true the information is, but I know the rest of you, just like me, have had the same. And for me, I find that very unfortunate. In as much as we still say that it is not proven, but I've seen documents of these people indicating that I am a resident here. This is my polling station, because I've seen documents indicating their previous information from when we did the verification of our voter information, and it clearly says this person is supposed to be voting from this given polling station. Now, before they know it, after they've come up to try to contest, this information has changed over time. So I find that rather ridiculous and very unfortunate for our political spaces, especially on the question of rule of law, the question of separation of powers, but also willingness to participate and being the ability for one to have the right environment for which to they should front their political aspirations, ideologies, and giving the voters the choice to decide who should be their leader. But now you have a leader who, if that is true, has already determined that I will be your leader whether you like it or not, because I do not want competition. So that's it. Trust me. Really.
Interesting. Sisi, structure barriers are some of those consistent barriers that continue to block youth, but also young women out there striving in the political spaces. And to put into context is that the affirmative action we have had in regards to uplifting women representation in parliament and the other aspects is that sometimes I feel like it has been, you know, if we have a person who has to run for a woman member of parliament 1 term, 2nd term, 3rd term, 4th term, where does this leave the hope of other young women and young youth taking into the same positions?
You know, in this political space, there are questions you will answer according to your opinion, to your thoughts, and the public out there and people that hold those offices will think you're fighting them. So one, in my opinion, affirmative action came to empower the girl child. You know, look at the background of affirmative action, 1996 and up to now, we have results of affirmative action. And they sound so clear that we cannot avoid them in all our conversations. And in the very beginning, when we got this affirmative action, we got it in a way that let's empower the woman, at least stand twice. By the time you're done with the 10 years, you are empowered enough so you can stand anywhere. But what have women made these positions of? They have made them as, it's actually no longer affirmative action to people that have this power, because they have taken it as a position, it's now mine, and there is no way I'll get out of it. And yet, if you really look at the background of how it came, how it has empowered women, like it's something that came as a vessel of the vulnerable to come to a particular space.
Yes.
Yes, because when you look at the number of women in the August House, those who are not on affirmative action seats, in the 11th Parliament, they were around 16. Yes, so if it is 16, that means without affirmative action, that would have been the number of women in the August House, which would be absurd to our agenda. But with affirmative action, we know that every
district...
Do you
think that how about there a possibility of it happening the other way around, because maybe women would want to be part of the conversation of elections and would dare to try to be part of running in those constituencies. Of course,
they would have dared to try, but it's after them failing to dare to try that there came affirmative action. Because maybe they were scared, and also, the political space, it's filled with money and everything. And when we talk about things of money, when we talk about things of energy, in most cases, there is a gender that is more gifted in money and energy than the women. In most cases. So it's percentages, though we do not dispute the fact that some women can mean to be richer. But what am I saying about affirmative action? What I'm saying is, it would be better if women get back to thinking of the reason as to why we got affirmative action in the first place. Because if it came in a way of empowering the woman, then after 2 terms, you're empowered enough. You can stand as a constituency MP. You can stand as chairman LC5. People always look at, and also you can even lead from the background without standing. I look to women like Miriam Matembe. I look to women like Winnie Kiza. They are serving in a space that is not actively political, but serving diligently. Because why of all things would you stand forever? Like, why should you? It is more like you're trying to bring down the woman more than to lift them up. Because if this space was made to lift up a woman, think of a situation where, let me not use my district, let me use yours, Cheslin. Let's say Bushenyi district woman member of parliament, and there is this woman that has been around for 10 years, and then another for 10 years, and then another for 10 years, and people keep electing like that. In 100 years, we will have 10 women members of parliament that would have served, and all these would have added a different brick on these particular districts. Because women are mothers, women are organized, Sarah is tall, yes, it's trending. And if she's tall in her brain. So women are generally as good as that. So if we can give the many we give chance, the better the world will become. So if women would have that, then we would go so far with affirmative action.
Thank you. Emanzi, talking about the approaches that young people are using, especially in these elections, and to borrow a leaf from the kind of approach Abraham is using, much as he has clearly stated it that he's not a young person, how bold should we be, especially when we are in campaigns, but also, is there a likelihood that that boldness can actually fetch us something better?
Well, Tracy, thank you. When you ask that question, it triggers 2 things in my head. One, are we looking at the new entrants in the political space from the angle of what are these people doing, or are we looking at them from the angle of this is what we've been wanting all along?
Yes.
Because from the angle of systems disruption, when you come to the game of politics, you'll understand that many a time, people come with what we call political gimmicks, right? But also it's
gimmicks
of a body, right? But there is a very thin line between political gimmicks and political symbolism. Now, this is the difference. Political gimmicks are some of the things that we've been saying. Most of them are skits, actions, terminologies, chants, or actions that are propagated by a certain group or individual, not necessarily with the focus of capturing power, but gaining the attention. Because if there is one thing that is of a very high value lately, it is human attention. The average human being has an attention span of 7 seconds. So even if it were me, as a person who is coming into politics that is very, very stiff, I'd look for that alternative, that entry point, okay? You've given the example of the gentleman who is trending lately, Abraham Luze. Sarah is tall.
Yes.
It's even funny, just mentioning Sarah is tall.
Yes.
We have never in the history of Uganda had a person with a chipande, a poster, with their wife or husband and their physical description. So that alone is an indicator that they're using a trick of capturing the attention of the masses. which he has scored a point.
Yes.
We've seen very many people who've done that before. You remember Donald Trump in 2016 when he had just come. He came speaking with fire, spitting fire. I'm going to ban this, I'm going to bomb this country, I won't give you aid. And everybody thought, wait a minute. This is the POTUS, the President of the United States of America, where the highest level of decorum, discipline, and diplomacy is expected. However, what is coming is not something that we're used to. It's something that has come and disrupted the entire geopolitical landscape, and now we are used to it. It is the new normal. A few days ago, Donald Trump released a video when he was in a fighter jet, dropping, fecal matter on his opponents. It was an AI video. But this is from the President of the United States of America. And it garnered about 15 million views in a space of 1 hour. What point was he trying to make? The point he was trying to make was, I can have the government shut down, but my policies will still run. Yeah. And indeed, that is what is happening in the United States of America right now as we speak. When you come to our neighbors in Tanzania, they had an election today, okay?
Yeah.
But the election they've had is not like the usual that we've seen previously. It's for the first time in our history as the youth, we are seeing people protesting in Tanzania over elections. It's never happened. Because of the legacy they've had from their quote-unquote founding father, Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, when he laid foundation for the Ujamaa policy, it appeared as if the democratic fabric of the country was insulated from the things that we are seeing now. So now the question is, why are we having young people in Tanzania burning down polling stations, beating down officials of the Chama Cha Mapinduzi party, and heralding anyone that is believed to be aligned to the president, the lady. These are new things in our terrain, and we are not yet prepared for these things. Previously, we are saying, oh, Africa, we need female presidents, we need some female leaders at the helm. Now we've had one. Okay, we have one now in Tanzania right here. And what is happening, people are saying, okay, wait a minute. So, okay. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When the lady came in Tanzania, she replaced the late John Pombe Magufuli, who before his passing, I was going to call it his martyrdom, he had instituted revolutionary policies that were counter-imperialist in nature. Okay? And all of us on the African continent were like, yes, this is the kind of leadership we wanted. We wanted a leader who would say, I don't want corrupt officials at the out. I want this road fixed in 2 days and it is fixed. That is what we wanted. That is what we've been wanting. So he died. We got a lady, and this is unfolding. Back home, you've seen some politicians or aspiring politicians trying to run online campaigns.
Yeah.
These online campaigns are filled with what we call sensationalism message. Oh, Museveni food day. Now let us prepare for a burial. Oh, nonsense. But because they use the sensationalist statement, it captured your attention. Now that you have our attention, dear systems disruptors, please give us the message that we need as young people. We've given you our time. We've given you our focus. Can you kindly use that very rare resource of our attention to morph and design the message for the young people to participate, one, in productive politics, stay away from violence, and also build a sufficient political knowledge base to drive the new revolution of African leadership. That's my 2 cents for now. I thank you.
Building a satisfactory political space. Emmanuel, when we had the primary elections for the NRM National Member of Parliament, we had some candidate who ran under the NRM, but also because they didn't merge as winners, they opted to now again nominate and come through as independents. To what extent do political parties contribute alongside their ideology on the intentionality of what young people have to offer vis-a-vis expectations of the vast majority of young people?
Thank you so much, Tracey. You see, politics and its dynamics are quite diverse.
Yeah.
and dynamic indeed. That over time, new things will always emerge. And two, that a thing that happened on a scale of 2 to 10 in the subsequent elections, the probability is that it has grown even bigger. Now, first of all, I wouldn't say that the aspect of independent running candidates who have tried the flag and not achieved it has happened right today. It has happened before. But now it is more pronounced. Because it's this time round that you have more individuals who have contested to have the flag through the primaries, have not attained it, and have proceeded to come as independents. That's on the NRM where you have an election. Now you have also parties like NUP where they have their own assessment. I think, is it 60% on ground score, how you perform on ground, and then 40 that is from the interview. And you know, and you still have people who have not been given this flag, and they, for some reasons, they seem not to understand the reasons as to why they were not found fit to have the flag. So, just like the NRM people, they are frustrated and they feel this result does not reflect the result of their presumed voters. Now in the NRM, you have people saying this process was not free and fair enough for me to accept the result and say I didn't get the flag. So I am going back to my people. It's the people that shall determine it. So on either fronts, both in the NRM and the opposition, you have so many people coming as independents. Although the undisputed fact is that many of these people are leaning to given political parties. Because if I am not wrong, there are only a few individuals who did not participate in the primaries, that's for the NRM, or who did not show interest to participate in the opposition parties, but who have now come up. For example, in the constituency, that's Maugura North where I come from, we have Honorable Sodo, who has the flag, and there was no election for him to actually have it. All of a sudden, you have a Jet Tumweba the council who has come to contest it. And this is one of the exceptions, the few people who have come as independents minus going through the primaries. So you have so many, you have a surge of independence. But the debate around has been, there has been a back and forth kind of reaction from the parties that these people are affiliated to. That is before they become independent. The legality aspect of it. The party is saying, if you didn't get the card, please do us a favor. In fact, many of them are actually commanding, please do not stand. But you, many of, in fact, I guess apart from, but you of course know, we are lawyers. And so we understand that even while it is true. Yes, you are in this process, so you understand this.
Yes.
The legal part of this is that we all understand that pursuant to Article 2 of the Constitution that holds it supreme. It is also true that these political parties have their constitutions, and their constitutions have their provisions that guide them. But there is never going to be a point where the constitution of a political party takes precedent over the constitution. Now, looking at Article 72, I hope I am not wrong, of the constitution, gives people a right to participate in political parties, to affiliate to any political party, but also to come on individual merit. That is, to stand as a candidate minus affiliating to any political party. That is the standard. That is the legal position. Article 29, that's of course pursuant also to Article 29, freedom of expression, freedom of association. So the question then is it legal for these people to come as independents? The answer is very brief, very precise. The law is very clear, very succinct, that you can come as an individual, minus leading to any political party. Yes.
When you look at, for example, and this is general knowledge to all of us. When you look at, for example, Honorable Winfred Nakandi, who was running for Member of Parliament under the NUP, but unluckily she did not get the flag. So she decides to say, this is okay, I was not able to be the fit candidate. Before you know it, you see a Winfred Nakandi on another seat under DF.
But you see, Truslin, this raises still another point that I hoped to skip. The point of, are people affiliated to parties they are alleged to be affiliated to? Because my imagination is that if you belong to a given political party, then you are bound by its rules, by its regulations, and also you hold it dear, because many of us have political aspirations, have political beliefs. As you affiliate to a political party, you've done your due diligence and you understand that this is a political party that conveys it reflects my personal likes of what I expect from a political party. So the question then that we need to ask now, this specifically communicates to people that are not even independent, but they are crossing over to other parties. You have been in the primaries. You've told us NRM is the best party any person can belong to. You have told us this political party has the vision for this country. You have gone into primaries. You have lost the election. Now you come back again. How quick can that be? That in a space of 2 days, this party has lost vision, and so you've now crossed to another party that now reflects your views. How ridiculous can this be?
Democracy.
Yes.
I, as a voter, how should I believe your consistency? You see, leaders are tested on different fronts, and consistency is one of them. I mean, you told me yesterday, when you wanted my vote to go through the primaries, that this political party, I can die for it. It conveys our aspirations as a country. It has the compass to lead us to progress and development. Now, after not attaining the flag, you tell us this party, with this kind of election it has conducted, doesn't have sense. Over time, in a space of 2 days, this party has lost direction and this other party has gained it.
No.
I find that very contradictory, and it does not make sense.
Getting to you, Sisi.
Very unfortunate. Just to conclude on that thing,
Yes.
this leaves us with a question, a rhetorical question. Are people affiliated to political parties in the belief that political parties carry a future, or are people only chasing their interests? Because we understand that while political dynamics change, our interests do not change. So you can, from that alone, you can draw a distinction between a person who is looking up to service and who believes in a given ideology, and who is only looking for a seat in parliament. So if this has not given me the ticket, let me look for a ticket elsewhere. So I wonder, is it not very unfortunate? Does it also leave us with the question of, have political parties lost sense? Has multi-party system lost value, and is it giving way to the movement system?
Back to the movement.
Back to the movement system. I mean, these are questions that I personally cannot answer. My seniors can help me, but these are questions we cannot answer really. You get it? So
Sisi, getting to you.
Yes.
From the conversation, the aspect of dealing with the internal party crisis in terms of conflict resolution, but also the struggle of democracy that we are in. If I am able to, for example, run as an independent, why don't I wait for when it is time for me to run as an independent? Why must I think that, for example, if I run in this and maybe plan B could work? Yes, it is interest, but talking about the ideal aspect of democracy vis-a-vis party systems and management of conflict, how far are we within the different political parties? And I say this because you have a whole chairperson, LC5, of NRM of a district who chooses to run as an independent in the general elections.
Thank you so much, Cheslin, for that question. Fellow panelists, allow me relate this relation we have with political parties to normal things that we have seen all over. This is marriages. you know, it is, I want to relate it in a way that will make you understand this. Think of a person who is, think of a Sisi Nafula, who is known as a wife to so and so. And they have a misunderstanding in January on 1st. And on 3rd January, Sisi is married to another. Think of how the public will look at it. Yeah. Like, it looks like in the first place, you have been in the house of A while you had an affair with B.
So are we married to political parties?
No, we are not married to political parties. But it means you had a relation, because having a political party is like you saying you're identifying with the NRM. You're identifying with them, with their values, with their aspirations. You're identifying with their manifesto for that particular season, and you have chosen to identify with them. So because you have had a misunderstanding today, yes, you've been denied the flag or something like this, and now for the NRM it's even worse. They did not deny you the flag, but the voters denied you the flag. So when the voters said no, then tomorrow they find you in another person's house. You would rather be independent. Yep. Of course, if you're independent, then you would look like now a single mother for a while, which is okay, while you scrutinize other possible husbands, and of course later you will jump into another marriage. It is very okay, because after a while, should you remain single because another husband has rejected you? So that is the same thing with political parties. It is, in my opinion, it is quite illogical for someone who has been in a, let me say, the NRM primaries, because those ones held elections. Yeah. You were in the NRM primaries in June. You lost the flag. And yes, July, you have posters of blue with a small phone or even a key.
A ball.
Like, oh my God. It looks like you had this whole affair with the FDC or wherever it was, even before. So in my opinion, if people would take time and understand what this whole affiliation is, then this jumping over would not be as we see it. But anyway, it is as of right, because any Ugandan has a right to associate with every political party they would wish to. But if only you would take time, understand the values of a party, because in 1 or 2 weeks or even days, you cannot tell a whole constituency that you're contesting in that now I have studied the manifesto of now another political party, I understand it better, and I would be happier moving with this political party than the one I told you about yesterday. You look at how that is. Yeah. Maybe you would rather come as independent, and of which maybe when you get back to the parties, their constitutions, their structures, they would also not prefer you to come as independent, because it's more like it is an in-house wrangle. You're standing against your own. But that comes to the in-house thing, like you asked me. Parties have their own wrangles inside. There are people who went through these elections, and of course, it is alleged that in some places the elections were unfair. And we were here at that time. I remember we talked about these things. In some places, the unfairness would be seen on the face of it. And in some places, of course, you'd need someone to explain what happened for you to realize. But we know of some places where the voters that are registered were not in the final registration books at the time of voting. And we also know of particular registrars that announced votes that are more than the registered voters. So these are some of the irregularities that make people prefer to come as independent. But then on your last that you said, why wouldn't they wait and come as independent in the end of it all without having to run in the structures? And so we have people who did that. There are those who did not even bother in any of the party structures, and they simply waited to come as independents, which is also okay, because there are very many, what do we always call, there is this scripture that says there are very many partitions in our Father's house. So you can become a member of parliament by being in the ruling party, by being in the opposition, by being independent. All those are roads to the August house. Yes. And all those are corners and rooms in the Father's house. So you can choose any of those. But still it would be so fine for people to study their political parties, understand them, so that even if you jump out after a while, you have vivid reasons as to why you have jumped out, and you can easily explain to the electorate that this is the reason. Like, this is where my party went wrong. Yesterday when I told you that it is time for us to believe in the NRM, and I shouted NRM oi, this is what I believed in, but then maybe they deviated to this particular extent, and me as a person, in my opinion, I would not hold on to that deviation. Then maybe the electorate would understand that yes, it is okay, he would not hold to that. But most of these people, more especially the ones that have jumped to other parties, they will not tell you vivid reasons, but they will say, I did not understand. Now for the NUP, it's even worse, because for them they had the vetting on ground, they're assessing your ground, and then there is this vetting where you're being asked questions. And people will come up and they're like, I am better on ground. How did that person even get the flag? And someone says, I did this. Like, when you compare some candidates, you really see maybe this one would have got the flag, but then the party had its own way of assessing that they came up with, and for them they thought this other one was more fit than the other one. And now what makes it worse is what has come out of it, because earlier on, these are the same people that were saying, now Honorable Mpuga has let us down, now they are the very people that are now running to Honorable Mpuga's party, which is an okay thing. But also when you reflect on what they said earlier, you realize that people are not attached to these political parties, they are not affiliated, they are not looking at values, they are simply looking at how do I get into a particular council, how do I get into the parliament?
Firstly, if you allow me,
I'll get back to you. Let me first get to Emanzi. Emanzi, part of the grounds when you talk to these candidates that are running as independent, who are formerly running as NRM, they'll tell you that commercialization of politics was one of the core reasons that candidates had either those who supported them while they sidelined others. Now, when we are looking at the aspect of that was actually lining up, now we are going to the box. How confident are the independent candidates, particularly those who shifted from one political party to run as independent now, against the people that were running? How possible is it, especially in terms of aspects around financing the election, but also isn't there likelihood that, because when these people get these party flags, they are usually given even some support from those political parties? How possible, or how much can they go in terms of achieving that vis-a-vis the same system that were against within the primary elections?
Well, personally, I look at that as one of the biggest paradox. Is it paradox?
yes.
Paradox, is it right?
Yes, it is.
It's one of the most complex things in our young democracy as a nation, because when you ask that question, it brings out aspects of one, loyalty, party loyalty, one, two, internal conflict resolution in the political parties, right? Three, it looks at how do the constitutions of the political parties align with the national constitution, which is the supreme law of the land. Okay, so coming back to the independent souls, because for me, I would want to think that what is the main reason that brings the idea of people running as independents after losing from their initial political parties? One, it could be out of frustration. I could be competing with the one Keisha, right? She beats me in the primaries. I choose to come as independent because I have an ego. Kakesha kanko bakatia. At least in Fidao. That is one. I can't confirm it, but that's a possibility because it's human nature.
Yes.
Right? The second approach could be the pressure from the voters. They're like, no, Tracy, we've supported you since you were a speaker at university. We supported you through the trainings with NIMDIS, do what now? We want you to come for our district woman representative. You know? And indeed, these people have,
want money.
Yes, and these people have actually supported you. So they were like, no, we can't let go of you now because Tracy, I was going to say you were in common. You as an individual, you would actually want to back out, right? Follow the right procedure, but also you do not want to break the hearts of your voters because you'll need them in the next Chisanja.
Isn't that what people are referring to as Kuvugisa?
Yeah, indeed. But also when you look at the politics of our land, that is the thing.
Yeah.
That is the thing. You gave us an example of one Nakandi who, when denied a party ticket on the NUP, she switched over to DF.
In another constituency.
I really, really like that. I upload DF. Do you know why? Political parties, as a function of design, scooping and hooking talent is one of the deliverables that they have, which we have not seen so much in this country. When you listen to that lady speak, right? When you listen to her articulate her points, she's not a resource we are to lose as a country, regardless of whether you are in power or not. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So for her being fished by another political party, I'll give the kudos to the political party that actually gave her the opportunity, because she also doesn't come as Nakandi. She comes with a whole group of people that support her. That is one. Two, she comes with ideas, probably, that have been stifled from Group A, and now she's gotten an opportunity to show us her brilliance. I mean, someone has given her a platform. Is that not what you talk about on these shows? Let's give women a platform, affirmative action, women have to be there. So, let us wait for what will come out of the election. So right now, for people going screaming, oh, she's a snitch, oh, she was here, now she has gone, but what alternatives were there is what we have to first ask ourselves. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Secondly, when you look at the political parties and this exercise that has been ongoing of vetting, indeed, most of the people that did not go through or did not get the flags are choosing to go independent because of the heavy investment in the current Kalulu in our country. People have kusingad all their properties, houses, farms, cars, do what, and the only thing they are looking at this is the Kalulu that is going to redeem me as a human being. First wait, the things we're talking about, my ideas as Mujisha. When vote for me, my ideas are going to first wait for that part. The part is, how do I penetrate, enter the August House? In 2000, sometime back, there was a member of parliament who was grabbed doing funny deals, and he was calling it Okwekubake Enfufu. First signs is usually for Okwekubako Enfufu because of the huge financial burden that comes with the what? With the Kalulu. But now the question is, should we sit and be comfortable with this, knowing that our by car I mean our democracy, it has gotten a puncture when we were doing 120 kilometers per hour, okay? Now our democracy is tagalaring in the road. What do? Do we sit and start discussing on TV? Oh, our car is tagalaring. Oh, we're going to crash as we sit in our, No. We have to come up with strong and resolute approaches and ideas to tackle the situation as it is. We nip it in the bud. For example, the aspect that you've talked about of commercialization, over-commercialization, because commercialization is everywhere. Sports, politics, leadership, relationships, marriages, everything is because we are in a capitalist economy. You can't run away from that. The only thing that we need is, do we come out now and say, guys, let us get new laws, regulations, and rules to govern the game? Otherwise, right now it is tilted. Those that have the ball, they have the referee, they own the stadium, and whoever comes into the stadium to watch has to be of their group. So for me, who is in the opposing team, by default, I'm going into this game already 5-0. Now that is us, the young people. Tuingira mu Kalulu mu system, not just by the way the Kalulu. Because Kalulu is, to me, the end. The process is the means. Okay? The process, things like civic engagement. Okay? Things like articulation of the problems that we have. Things like mobilization, things like resource mobilization, to be specific. Things like mobilization and developing agendas or what we call ideological footprints to follow. To me, that is where the million-dollar question is. And how do we do it? We have, as young people, to be very resolute, and we come out with a voice to say we need reforms, and we need reforms now.
Thank you so much. Our time is really running very fast. So I'll pick your parting shots in less than 2 minutes, and I'll start it off with you, Emma.
Thank you so much, Tracy. First of all, in regards to our motion, I would precisely respond in the affirmative that this that we are discussing is not just a phantom, but it's not an abstract. It's something that really happens. And of course, it comes with so many questions regarding, like you said, party affiliation, but then what do you do when you are aggrieved? Questions of, have political parties lost sense? But also questions of, are people only chasing their personal interests as opposed to the service and the political policies that they believe in? Because like I said, if your political ideology is to a given party, how swiftly do you now change to another party the next day? These are also many questions that are left for us, I think, to answer and ponder upon. So we have really a lot, and I hope that the best we can do. Man, you see, this country is funny, Traceline. Sometimes you think of a remedy, and when you think about its possibility and feasibility in the present context, you want to laugh at your own.
Yes.
You want to sit back and laugh at your own, intubated idea. I don't know what solution really works, but I hope that we need to be vigilant. Also, it's the onus is on us as young people to understand and accept fault, to be vigilant and know that this really is wrong, both by normative rules but also by positive rules. By normative rules, I mean as a person, out of personal conviction and discipline, some things are wrong on a moral basis. And it's society that neglects the aspect of the moral aspect really decays. No wonder our moral fabric has decayed and has gone too low and too shallow. People are doing things that you look at and you mean a sensible person, you mean a family head can do such a thing. So positive rules, which are the rules, I mean the laws, are nothing without the backup of, as a person I shouldn't do this. But politics has stripped us naked. People do things in the bid to achieve a political goal, and you wonder if this person has the element of humanity in them. So I mean, we need to find a way we can juggle these things, especially us as youth. If people are doing this and these are the elders, the question then is, do we want, if it happens and you and I wonder, must you also do it when you get there? Or you think this is a wrong that should be corrected? Instead, not an advantage that you think a precedent has been set, so I have now the opportunity to do the same, because anyway, if Museveni has done it, why not just me, a Kwesiga? I mean, wrong is wrong irrespective of who says what.
Yes.
The question of a thing being wrong or right has nothing to do with numerics, but with your personal consciousness, with your personal intuition, with your personal inner voice, with your personal spirit. So we need to be cautious as we are already into the process, but we need to be very cautious, and also we do not need to lose our cautiousness. We have lost this, and it has punctured us, our moral campus as a nation. I beg to submit. Thank you so much for having me, and it's been a pleasure for me to interact with these brilliant minds. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kwesiga. Ceci, your parting shots, if you can keep it a minute.
Thank you so much, Cheslin. My parting shots, I've written them down, so I'll just go one, so that I don't miss out on a point. Number one, we are talking of alternatives and what and so on. As Emanzi said, I actually got something interesting from him. For the political parties that are out there and you're willing to grow brains, be ready to fish. When you see a CC that is good, she's eloquent, she's speaking out truth to power, and then there is this party that is playing around with her capabilities, fish those ones and build your parties. Youths, be ready to embrace the alternatives. Because the truth is, me, in my opinion, we are already wishing that we would go back to the movement system. Because think of a system where we are all in one whole pond, and it doesn't matter which party is having a lot of money, it doesn't matter what, but we are all looking at good leadership and capabilities. Me, there are times I feel like that was far way better than the things of looking at camps and you're like, this one is now NRM, I cannot vote for NRM. You know, you're looking at a very good brain, but disputing it, leaving it behind because you can't just put your tick on the bus.
Yes.
I feel like, no, let's embrace the alternatives. If what is good is in a person who is not in a party that you like, it's far better that you look at the qualities than look at a political party. When you choose a party, my fellow youth, please study their manifesto, study their values, study what they stand for, so that you're able to be loyal to them. You're able to be loyal to a party that you have chosen, and you have the ability to explain that party's agenda to the public. Because what is it that you're saying? You're saying you're affiliated to the NRM, but you don't even know what they stand for. What do you mean? You don't even know their manifesto. You don't know their program for the next 5 years. That is not it. Because when you do not know, then it will be so easy for you to be swayed off by any other person that shouts the better. So it is really good that when youth, women, and any other person that is interested in this political space gets into these political parties, but first study the ideologies of the parties that they are getting into. Then the second last, women, youth, stand up. And when you stand up, do not be held back by these things called political parties. When they fail, I am not telling you to go to become disloyal to your parties, but when they fail, choose to be independent. Because the truth is, if you believe in yourself, if you really believe that you can do this well, you really believe that you can represent, as I earlier said, I affiliate this political thing to marriages. You can always reconcile with your husband after running away. It is okay. Go run independent. When you win, you will go back and reconcile with your party. Things will still move on well. To the people who have kidnapped others to be unopposed. That was not nice. It was not nice. It's not just in our country. Of course, it has happened in other countries and so on. In my opinion, that is not nice. Because if you're really good, if you believe you're the best candidate, it would be okay for you to compete and the whole world will know you're the best. By the ballot. Because the ballot, people are going to love you wholeheartedly. They will tick. If they really mean to tick, they will tick. If you say that, yes, we are the NRM, we are believing that this time round it is 13 million, we can get the 13 million by the ballot. If only we can go. There are very many avenues of looking for these votes. You can go public, you can go to door to door, you can go one-on-one. Make people understand your agenda, make people understand your manifesto. There is no need to lock them out. There is no need to get their numbers and switch them so that they do not campaign. No, it is not right. Let's do the right thing. Let's be able to compete. And for the people that are in a political arena, do your best and let people choose the best. Thank you very much for listening to us.
Thank you so much. This is what it means to host politicians. Emanzi, your parting shots.
I'll start by saying God is greatest of all. And as we are heading into this, as we are in this electioneering period, may we be guided by the Holy Spirit, because by all standards, using our human understanding, all indicators show that we are not doing the right thing.
Yeah, true.
But most importantly, young people, let us galvanize our energies, our intelligence, and we become more organized to prepare ourselves for a revolution nobody is talking about. But this is the revolution of post-2031. My name is Mugisha, for God and my country.
Thank you so much, Mugisha, for that. And of course, this is Youth of Purpose. We've been discussing the alternatives to youth inclusion, but also the increase in independent candidates that have previously participated in their different political parties. Joining us has been Emanzi Mugisha, who is our usual panelist, Sisi Nafula, who is a youth councillor from Banda Sub-County in Namayingo district, and Kwesiga Emmanuel, who is an author and a lawyer. Take home is that there are very many alternatives that we can have, but we must be willing to actually embrace those alternatives. Be vigilant, and of course, since we are still in the election period time, we pray that we have peaceful elections and also continue to keep the candle burning as young people and women. Thank you so much. It's been Tresilin Ankunda that does host this conversation. I want to thank the team behind the production that makes this possible, and also to remind you that this program airs every Wednesday at 9 p.m. So